Hi there and welcome to Laugh So Create. Today we're moving away from sewing and doing something else that is crafty, and that is the granny square of these beauties that you can turn into all kinds of things, such as clothing, patches, afghans, and even chickens. That's right. Have you guys seen those cute, adorable chickens made out of granny squares? So how is this video different, you might be asking? This one is going to be left-handed. I am going to take extensive time in showing you how to do it, because that is one of the things I find when learning crocheting or even knitting, is that sometimes the videos are either sped up or they kind of are really fast at it and I can't quite keep up. So in today's tutorial, I'm not using double speed. I am not using any of the crocheting abbreviations, so I will have the written directions for the steps at the top of the video. I want to make sure that you have plenty of time to crochet along with me. This crochet pattern, it originally is a pattern that I need to give credit to Brittany over at Be Hooked. She also has a YouTube tutorial for the granny square. It's a basic granny square, but she has kind of perfected, and it offers a video with tips. It's a right-handed version. Brittany also has a blog with the written instructions and a really detailed explanation of the granny square. So I will include all of those links in the description below. So you'll want a pair of snips as well as a yarn needle to weave in your ends. You'll start with a slip knot. Now there are multiple ways of doing slip knots. Just pick the preferred method. You could make a loop that way, and then using the yarn that is attached to the ball, you would push it through this way and do it that way. You can also, I just wrap it around my thumb and then use my index finger to push it through. As far as the crochet needle, I'm using a 3.75. It is slightly smaller than the recommended 5mm, and the reason why I'm doing that is because you get a tighter granny square, and you're going to start the granny square with a chain 3. So you're going to go under, and then once you've done chain 3, so each one of these V's is counted as a stitch, you will slip stitch into the first chain, which is this one right here. And you're going to slip stitch. Slip stitch is just a yarn over, you pull it through the first loop, and then you pull it through the second loop. And you are basically making a little ring. So granny squares, you can start either with a chain, or you can also do a magic loop if you prefer. With this pattern, since we will be doing double crochet into that central hole right there, I'm going to just do this method. So you're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So what this is going to translate into is a chain 3, which brings you up to the height of the double crochet, which we're going to be doing next, and then it adds on a chain 2 space. So you see what I mean next. I'm going to do 3 double crochets into that center hole. So we'll start with the first one. And try to avoid your extra tail. Try not to get it caught in your space. So there's 1, going with 2, and then 3. So let me just show you what that equals to. It's forming the bottom corner. And what you'll want to do is chain 2 next. 1 and 2. And as you work, you may want to take your stitches and kind of pull them together and help coax that shape. So we're going to start with the first complete cluster by doing a 3 double crochet in the center loop and then a chain 2. During the first round, you'll be repeating that for a total of 3 times. Okay, so it's starting to take its form here. You'll want to do another set, but first we've got to do the chain 2 because this is going to give it that top left corner shape. Then to do 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and I'm using cotton today because I think that you can see the stitches a little bit better than with the fuzzier acrylic. Okay, so then you'll chain 2. Alright, and now back to this chain 5 over here. As I mentioned earlier, that chain 5, the first 3 stitches are going to count as a double crochet. The remaining 2 stitches of that chain 5 give you that chain 2 space. So all that we have left to do is 2 double crochets, make up that last kind of cluster. So let me show you. 1. Okay, so all we have left to do is to join this cluster by doing a slip stitch in that chain 2 space. Now I'm not going into the stitches, I'm going into the actual corner space. So going in, yarn over, and then pull through, and that is going to close that first round. You have a beginning of a square. So that's your round 1. Pause if needed to finish round 1 and then prepare to start round 2. I'm going to insert a clip of how to change colors if you want to change colors in round 2. If not, we'll meet you in the same exact spot. Then you would start in the opposite corner with the second color, and what that does is kind of keep the granny square balanced. Okay, so for round 2, you're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This corner. You're going to do 3 double crochets. So then you are going to put 3 double crochets in the next chain 2 space, and I did not put any chains between this cluster of double crochets and this next one. The only place I'm going to do the chain 2s are for the corners, which may be a little different than some of the granny squares, but it provides a tighter finish. Now we're going to do a chain 2 to develop that top left corner. 1, 2, and in that same chain 2 space, move some of these over and make more room for another cluster of double crochets. So 3 more double crochets. 1, so there is the square starting to take place. Again, I'm not doing any chains to jump to in this corner. I'm just going to go ahead and place 3 double crochets, and then I'll do 2 chains. One, 2, and kind of pull those and work on the next set of 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. So that top left hand corner is made. Now going into that next chain 2, I'm going to repeat the process. 3 double crochets followed by 2 chains followed by another 3 double crochets in that same chain 2 space. 2, 3, 1 chain, 2 chain, pull these over just a little bit, make room for your next set of double crochets. So we'll do 3 more. 1, 2, 3, okay, let me show you where we are now. This chain 5, if you remember, that's how we started this round. The first 3, it's going to count as one of double crochet, and then the chain 2 is the corner space. So all we have left to do are 2 double crochets into this chain 2 space to complete the round. And then slip stitch in that chain 2 space. Slip stitch, yarn over, and then you're pulling it through. So that completes round 2. Now to start round 3, same process, just with a little bit of a different thing in this, but what you're going to do is do chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And now at the base of that chain 5 and that chain 2 space, you're going to put 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so where it's different here is that you have a extra chain 2 space because it's getting bigger. So for each of the sides here, you'll see that you have an extra chain space in the middle. And all that means is that you are going to do another set of 3 double crochets. So again, no chains between the double crochets, just going straight in. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so then we go into the top right corner and we're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets all in that top right corner. So I'm just going to twist it and do chain 2, 2, and go ahead and pull these over and do another set of double crochets, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, see, I'm just kind of pulling it with my fingers, making room. 3. Alright, so next there's this extra chain 2 space, so we're going to do 3 double crochets there. Okay, onto this corner. So this will get 3 double crochets, 2 chains, and another 3 double crochets. Chain 2. And another set of 3 double crochets. So 3 double crochets in this hole. Okay, so then into this corner we're going to do 3 double crochets, 2 chains, 3 double crochets. you'll have more of these chain 2 spaces, and so for each one of the side chain 2s, you're going to do 3 double crochets in each one. So 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets. And for the corner one, it's 3 double crochets, 2 chains, 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets, so on and so forth. So as this gets bigger and bigger, you can actually make a whole afghan throw with this pattern and keep continuing, or you could also make a cushion for a couch or something, but the possibilities are endless and you can stop whenever you decide. So I'm going to finish all the way around and then weave in the ends. Our space. Chain 2, another set of 3 double crochets. Okay, so on the last round, I'm going to just finish this up, and all you have to do is 2 double crochets in that chain 2 space. And then slip stitch in the chain 2 space. So all that's left to do is just weave in. Just grab your yarn needle, and what I like to do is take the yarn, loop it around, and then kind of slide it to the narrower end, pinching that yarn to make it flat so that it goes into the eye of the needle a little bit easier. Then there's no rhyme or reason to this, but I like to go back closer to the center. Everybody does this differently. I give it a little tug just to make sure that it hasn't pulled in all the way, and then you can hide it. Making sure it didn't pull. And when you go to pull it, it'll kind of nestle in that little cluster right there. Use a blocking square, and you would just wash it under cold water, and then they do make like T-pins that don't rust that you can use, but I don't have any, so I just would use regular pins and get it even once it's wet. Then once it's dry, you can just come back and it'll be nice and square. To show you this throw, same principle. Just change the colors and join them together. If you find this video of benefit, drop it in the comments below. If you'd like me to do more left-handed crocheting tutorials, please give it a thumbs up, a like, subscribe if you enjoy this channel.